Part 24. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 231. Chapter 231. Welcome to the vampire clan again. Yang Zizi, welcome to the vampire clan again. Yang Zizi heard the sentence in a daze. The voice was very familiar. It was Gui Zongliang. She quickly sat up from the ground and looked around. It turned out that she was captured by vampires of the vampire clan. Maybe this time he wants to use her to seduce Lun Zhenqi again. He, they really made a mistake this time. Judging from the current situation, it doesn't work at all. What do you want to do? Lun Zhenqi promised that I would kill you last time, but he broke his promise and ran away. In this case, I will deal with you personally, Gui Zongliang said with high-sounding sound. You can't kill me, Yang Zizi said firmly. Lun Zhenqi has said and confirmed that her blood can save people. Since others can be saved, why can't she save herself? Gui Zongliang suddenly laughed, and the two elders also twitched the corners of their mouths sarcastically and glanced at him in an overestimating way. Humans, your IQ has really underestimated the IQ of our vampires. Gui Zongliang slowly walked down from the main seat, clasped his hands together, and looked at her with a very expectant and eager expression. I heard that your blood can actually save people. Yang Zizi was surprised. How did he know? And your blood is what we need when we encounter war. Defeating the devil and becoming the ruler of the entire race in this world has been his lifelong wish. As long as he has the blood of Yang Zizi, why should he fear the devil? My blood is certainly a good thing. It can save people, but it can also kill people. It's my intention. Yang Zizi kindly reminded him that he should not blame himself if he accidentally killed him. Gui Zongliang didn't take it seriously and smiled scornfully. How can a dead person get this idea? That's even more pity. It's impossible to save someone with the blood of a dead person, Yang Zizi said. Gui Zongliang stood there, holding his hands tightly together, with an angry expression on his face, wondering what to do with the tiny human in front of him. For the first time, it really broke the world record. The ruler of his blood race is helpless in front of a tiny human being. In this case, from now on, you will be imprisoned in the dungeon, unable to survive, unable to seek death, and miserable for eternity, just to prepare for us to declare war on the devil. As for your thoughts, Gui Zongliang paused for a few seconds and looked at Yang Zizi, said proudly, I have two sons who know the art of emptiness. Ha 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 ha. Gui Zongliang couldn't help but burst into laughter, and his laughter penetrated the entire castle forest. Yang Zizi didn't care at all, because in her subconscious, she already believed that her brothers would never hurt her. Come here, put her in the dungeon for me, and let her, a girl who doesn't know the heights of the world, experience the feeling of not being able to live or die. I won't believe it anymore with her. I won't be able to kill two birds with one stone. I didn't expect that he would use a human being to help himself climb up the ranks. It can make them no longer afraid of the devil, and it can also lead to the hidden dangers that they have always wanted to get rid of. It is really a good thing that kills two birds with one stone. Yang Zizi wanted to resist, but for some reason her superpower seemed to have expired again, and she was no different from an ordinary human being, so she had to be taken away obediently. He believed that his brothers would rescue her soon. Zizi, the five brothers rushed in, but Yang Zizi was nowhere to be seen. Oni Jinyu could see everything that just happened here and conveyed it to the other brothers. Seeing his sons all showing murderous intent, Gui Zongliang became angry. Are you going to disobey your father? Gui Zongliang looked at his sons trying their best to protect a human being, and he pointed at these rebellious sons with great anger. Father, you can't hurt Zizi, Gui Chen said. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 232. Chapter 232, Take her blood. I can kill a mere human being if I want to, so why not? Gui Zongliang waved his hand and said. Because that's enough, get ready. After a while, our vampires will declare war on the devil for any reason. By then, our vampires will be the only rulers in this world, ha 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 ha. The brothers quickly came to the dungeon, but were unable to enter. Gui Zongliang set up thunder and lightning outside, and there were two powerful men, Agiaban, to guard them, so they could not enter at all. Gui Chen Chen and Gui Yunyu angrily tried to break in, but were stopped by Gui Xiaogu. Not only does the forced intrusion have no effect, but it will anger his father and vent his anger on Yang Zizi. The only way we can do now is to obey our father. He said he wants to launch a war against the devil, so we will cooperate. When he completely believes us, we can think of other ways. However, it's not like we haven't experienced father's ruthless methods. I'm afraid my sister won't be able to survive it. Gui Chen Chen was so anxious that he almost jumped up, blaming himself for not being able to protect her properly. Don't worry, my sister has defense skills. No one can hurt her. The most important thing now is to rescue Zizi from the dungeon. Gui Xiaogu kept his mind absolutely clear. As expected of a big brother, he has strong leadership skills. The other brothers felt that what Gui Xiaogu said made sense, so they did as he said, because there was no other way. Lun Shenqi ran like lightning in front, while Gui Kale chased after him. Brother Shenqi, calm down. Gui Kale's speed couldn't keep up with Lun Shenqi's speed at all, and he was soon left far behind by Lun Shenqi. In the prosperous age of Lun, he came to the royal family of the Blood Clan and started killing all the way to the dungeon. Gui Kale arrived, thinking she would go find her father first, but unexpectedly, there was no one in the hall. When she was getting ready to leave, Lun Shenqi was suddenly escorted in by soldiers, followed by Yang Zizi and his brothers. The father and the two elders were sitting on the throne, looking as if they were about to be judged. Gui Kale fell to his knees on the ground with a plop and begged, "Father, please let brother Shenqi go." Gui Zongliang didn't pay any attention to him. He was really his good son and daughter. They all turned against outsiders and opposed him. In the prosperous age of society, do you know that what I hate most in my life is deception? Lun Shenqi knew that the combined efforts of Gui Zongliang and the two elders were enough to defeat him. As long as you let go of Zizi, you can kill me. The prosperous age of Lun was as calm as water. Yang Zizi's heart was stung again. She just saw him fighting for her in the dungeon, and her heart softened. She still believed that he loved her. Because, when you love someone, your eyes and actions will never lie. No, Gui Zongliang, if you want to kill, just kill me. I can give you my blood, and I can help you save people. Please let Lun Shenqi go. She desperately wanted to protect him. The moment she saw him in the dungeon, she felt that the world was worth it. At that moment, she was so satisfied and greedy. She greedily wanted to be with him forever. Okay, let's kill first. Gui Zongliang's index finger wandered between Yang Zizi and Lun Shenqi. Father, Gui Xiao was anxious. Then let's start with you, the traitor of the Blood Clan. Gui Zongliang finally set his sights on Lun Shenqi. Getting rid of him has been my wish for hundreds of years. As long as I get rid of Lun Shenqi, I will also get rid of my hidden dangers. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 233. Chapter 233. Black and white wings suddenly appear. The soldiers listened to the order and attacked Lun Shenqi one after another. Gui Zongliang has puppetry skills. He can control the actions of 3 people at the same time. He chose the most powerful among his brothers, Gui Xiaogu, Gui Nangxuan, and Gui Yiyi to deal with Lun Shenqi together. Although it may be slightly less powerful, it only takes a little time, so it doesn't matter. The three brothers who were controlled by the puppet technique unconsciously worked with the soldiers to deal with Lun Zhenji. The scene was fierce, with more than a dozen soldiers, Agiaban and his three brothers besieging Lun Zhenji. At first Lun Zhenji was at the upper hand, but later he was slowly at a disadvantage. Lun Zhenji, Yang Zizi struggled desperately, but it had no effect at all. He could do nothing but watch the man he loved most being tortured by his brothers. Brother Shenchi, Gui Kale knelt on the ground, begging Gui Zongliang but couldn't get any sympathy. The two brothers who were being held captive by other soldiers were powerless. Even though they had thousands of hearts that wanted to break free, they were still powerless. They looked at their desperate sister, blaming themselves and wanting to kill themselves for being useless. Lun Zhenji was successfully captured, was pushed down by the soldiers, and knelt in front of Gui Zongliang. Gui Zongliang looked at Lun Zhenji, who knelt down in front of him and surrendered to him with great satisfaction. This kind of pleasure is unprecedented. Finally, one day, Lun Zhenji will willingly kneel at his feet. Ghost Zongliang smiled and walked up to Lun Zhenji. In the prosperous times, you will lose in the end. Gui Zongliang slowly raised his hands, ready to pull out his head. Ah, suddenly, a deafening sound came out of Yang Zizi's throat. I saw Yang Zizi yelling at the sky, and as she roared, her body underwent shocking changes. There was only a coaxing sound, and a pair of huge black and white wings actually spread out from Yang Zizi's back. Unprecedented, never before seen two-color wings. Everyone's jaw dropped at this scene. Gradually, two long and sharp fangs grew out of Yang Zizi's mouth, his eyes changed from the original color to blood red, and his appearance became more beautiful, even a little more enchanting. Black and white wings, the soldiers thought about it and were terrified. When the two elders saw this situation, they stood up from their seats with a rare look of fear on their faces. Gui Zongliang hung his hands in the air with a look of shock on his face, unable to believe what he saw. How could a human be so powerful, even have black and white wings, and have the same characteristics as a vampire? No, Gui Zongliang actually felt a sense of fear. His instinct told him that this human girl would make him lose everything, even his status as a ruler. Lun Zhenji and his brothers were calm and natural, neither unexpected nor expected. Kill her, Gui Zongliang pointed at Yang Zizi and roared angrily. The soldiers who received the order were also afraid that Yang Zizi would become a genocide and attacked her crazily. No one is allowed to hurt Lun Zhenji except me, Yang Zizi roared, spread his wings and flew up instantly, making the vampire soldiers fly away. The vampire soldiers and even the three brothers began to spread their wings and fight with Yang Zizi in the air. However, they couldn't get close to her at all, let alone hurt her. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 234. Chapter 234. An angel appears unexpectedly. Yang Zizi mobilized his perseverance, switched out his defense skills, and set up an invisible protective ring around himself. The enemy could not get close. If they approached forcefully, they would be killed. They did not dare to get close, and wandered around waiting for the opportunity. Gui Zongliang suddenly turned his goal to Lun Zhenji. No, Yang Zizi rushed towards Lun Zhenji in desperation. Gui Zongliang was knocked away several meters away by a magical force from Yang Zizi, and hit the wall heavily. For the first time in his life, the ruler of his dignified vampire clan was ridiculously injured by a human girl. Yang Zizi tightly protected Lun Zhenji under his wings. Now, it's up to me to protect you. My uncle. Fool, leave me alone, Lun Zhenji's voice was weak. Seeing that the vampire soldiers were about to continue attacking them, Yang Zizi continued to use his willpower to activate the defensive technique, but it didn't work. What's going on? Why do my superpowers that appear out of nowhere always malfunction for no reason? Gui Zongliang took this opportunity to live in Gui Xiaogu. Ghost Xiaogu picked up a sword. Brother, no, Gui Chen Chen shouted heartbreakingly, trying to wake up his father's puppet technique on him, but it didn't work at all. Ghost Xiao Gu still swung a sword and slashed at Yang Zizi's wings. A section of the wings was chopped off, and the flesh and blood were blurred. It was too horrible to look at. Younger sister. Gui Chen Chen and Gui Yunyu went completely crazy. They roared in the sky, spread their wings, and started killing their own people. Zizi, Lun Chenchi was in excruciating pain, his heart ached like the bites of thousands of poisonous beasts, and every cell and bone was shattered into pieces. If he could go back in time, he would never leave her. His tears actually fell for the first time. Once watching his father and mother leave, he never even shed a single tear. However, this time, it was the most painful time he had experienced in 1,000 years. Life is worse than death. Don't cry, Yang Zizi reached out and wiped away his tears. My blood can save me, I won't die. However, the piercing pain of having her wings chopped off was really unbearable for her. However, when she opened her eyes and saw Lun Chenchi, she suddenly realized that this pain was nothing at all. Kill him. Gui Zongliang was unwilling to accept that Yang Zizi was not dead yet. Stop. Suddenly, an ethereal voice, extremely pleasant to the ears, appeared in the castle. Subsequently, a translucent woman wearing a long white dress appeared in front of them, waving bright white wings and hanging in mid-air. Angel, someone shouted in shock. Haven't angels been exterminated by demons? Why do angels still appear in this world? When Gui Zongliang saw the woman in front of him, his shocked eyes turned into affectionate ones. Wai Wei, is that you? He reached out his hand in disbelief and wanted to touch her who was once out of reach. Gui Zongliang, you disappoint me so much. I didn't expect that you could be so cruel as to kill your own daughter. The woman's pure and beautiful face was full of disappointment. What did you say? Gui Zongliang glanced at Yang Zizi in shock, seeming to understand something. Since the appearance of Yang Zizi, he has given them so many surprises for the vampires. It turns out that there is no reason for his 5 sons to be called Sister Yang Zizi. Gui Zongliang relaxed his vigilance, and the puppet technique disappeared. Ghost Xiao Gu also recovered like this and gained his own consciousness. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 235. Chapter 235 Love, I Love You. When Gui Ziogu saw Yang Zizi with one of his wings chopped off, he remembered the wrong things he had done when he lost control. Zizi he looked at him with great remorse. With a trembling hand holding a sharp sword, he actually killed his biological sister with his own hands. He couldn't believe it, he had done it himself. Gui Ziogu looked at his sister in pain. He couldn't bear it. When he was about to commit suicide, Gui Chen Chen ran over and stopped him in time. He comforted him, brother, it's not your fault. It was my father who used puppetry to control you. Idea. Ghost Xiaogu regretted it. If he was strong enough, he would not be controlled by his father's puppetry. Yang Zizi is actually my daughter. Gui Zongliang looked at Yang Zizi in disbelief. He actually killed his daughter with his own hands. How ironic this is. No, this is impossible, you must be lying to me, Gui Zongliang roared, unable to believe how he and Wai Wei could have a child. Everyone knows that a hybrid child of a vampire and an angel is unlikely to survive. These two races are incompatible with each other and cannot get along. How could their children survive? However, when he saw Yang Zizi's black and white wings with his own eyes, he had to believe it. I also hope she is not your child. The angel was slightly filled with tears. He slowly closed his eyes in despair, and a drop of tear fell down, dripping warmly on his hand. Turns out, these are tears. She has never shed a tear, not even when Gui Zongliang promised to leave her. But the man in front of her who once promised her eternal life was so heartless that he wanted to drive away his children and kill them all. Yang Zizi felt that his body was getting lighter and lighter, so light that it seemed like he was about to turn into clouds and fly away. Lun Zhenqi, who was holding her, also felt it. Zizi, no. Lun Zhenqi was helpless and desperate. He didn't know what he should do to save her life. It's all because of him. If he didn't appear in his world, then she would definitely live a good life in the human world. However, all this was broken by him. My uncle Yang Zizi stretched out his hand to wipe his tears, with a smile that had not appeared for a long time on his lips. Do you love me? She wanted to hear him say that he loved her from his mouth, only to eliminate her concerns. Love. Lun Zhenqi's voice choked with sobs, and then he hugged her tightly. I love you, I love you. Please don't leave me, Lun Zhenqi cried pitifully. Shouting, this pain was more painful than the moment he decided to leave Yang Zizi. That puts me at ease, Yang Zizi smiled with satisfaction. The moment she closed her eyes, she turned her head and glanced at the woman who was so beautiful that she couldn't bear to blink. That's her mother. She now finally understands why so many supernatural and miraculous things happened to her when she was a child. It turns out that her mother has always been by her side, but she just can't see it. Mother, Yang Zizi spoke slowly, not knowing what kind of emotion he was feeling when he called out this unfamiliar title. Angel Wei suddenly felt palpitations. Zizi, then she rushed down instantly. She regretted it. If she had known this, she would never have left her daughter behind. Yang Zizi has already closed his eyes. Zizi. Ghost Xiaogu fell to his knees weakly. He actually killed the sister he wanted to protect forever. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 236. Chapter 236. Goodbye, Mother. Zizi, no, please wake up, I promise everything. Lun Zhenqi collapsed in despair. The pain in his heart was like all the ribs in his body were being pulled out, and he was in colic, as if he was about to suffocate. My child, Mother will never let anything happen to you. The angel cut his own pulse slightly and dripped bright red blood on Yang Zizi's wings, and the wings slowly recovered. And Angel Wei gradually became light and airy. Before leaving, Angel Wei told Lun Zhenqi, promise me to protect her well and not to have children with her. That will be an indelible pain. She knew that her daughter loved Lun Zhenqi so much that she couldn't let them separate, but she didn't want her children to go their own way. Wei, Guizhong's conscience hurt like a knife. The woman he had been thinking about for hundreds of years finally appeared in front of him but suddenly left again. The angel looked at Guizhong Liang slightly and smiled. Guizhong Liang, I was wrong, I shouldn't have loved you. After saying that, he turned into white clouds and disappeared. Wei. Yang Zizi was awakened. Zizi, you finally woke up, Lun Zhenqi cried with joy. The brothers also woke up instantly as if they had a vitality. Guikale was a little disappointed when he saw Yang Zizi, who was awake. Although she is her sister now, she still hates him for taking away the prosperous life that should belong to her. Mother, where is Mother? Yang Zizi subconsciously seemed to see his mother die. Lun Zhenqi couldn't bear to tell her the truth. But Yang Zizi knew better than anyone else that her mother died trying to save her. She is so stupid. Her mother has always been by her side, but she doesn't know it. She still blames her parents in her heart for not being her parents. She hugged her and she was in a prosperous life. She could not get back what she had lost. She didn't want to lose another one. Zongliang, you must be soft-hearted, right? The white-haired elder spoke slowly, as if he was warning. The vampire race cannot tolerate mixed-race children. They believe that mixed-race children will destroy the world and become a hidden danger to their vampire race. Ghost Zongliang quickly put away his sad expression and said indifferently, how could it be? I just thought that it would not be too late to get rid of her after she helps us defeat the devil successfully. Father, wake up. Zizi is your biological daughter. If you want to take his blood, don't you mean to kill her? Goiziogu roared angrily, as if this arrogant man was not his biological daughter. Father, he will definitely chop him up with his own hands. So what, I won't let anyone go as long as they harm the vampires. In this case, let the entire vampire clan be replaced by a capable master. Yang Zizi suddenly stood up in the air and spread out a pair of two-color wings. So what if the man in front of her is her father? If he dares to harm Lun Zhenji even a little bit, she will let him go to the 18th level of and never be reincarnated. Zizi the brothers were a little worried and didn't know whether to stop or help. After all, what their sister had to deal with was her biological father. However, Goiziogu rushed forward without hesitation to help Yang Zizi deal with Goizongliang. Guer, the vampire queen, suddenly ran out, desperately trying to stop her son from hurting her husband. Mother, the brothers stopped their mother from stepping forward in time. This should have been brought on by the father. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 237. Chapter 237 Gu's succession to the throne. Quick, stop your eldest brother and don't hurt your father, that's your father. Kzizi is also our sister, our father's biological daughter. Why can't a father do what a father should do with all his heart? Instead, he is so cruel that he would even dare to kill his own flesh and blood. Although the two elders can deal with the god of war Lun Zhenji together, they can't compete with Yang Zizi. After all, he is the legendary destroyer of the world. Having great power, no one can stop it with its roar. Goizongliang was quickly defeated and was kicked to the ground by Lun Zhenji. When Lun Zhenji flew in front of Goizongliang like lightning, he waved a sharp sword and was about to chop off Goizongliang's head. Suddenly, a figure rushed over regardless of his own safety. The head of the charging figure was cut off. Mother, Goikale and his brother's heart-wrenching shouts shook the entire castle. Goizongliang took advantage of everyone's confusion, picked up a sword on the ground, and was about to throw it at Lun Zhenji's neck. Suddenly, there was a cold sword pointed at his neck. Faintly I feel like there is blood flowing out. If you dare to hurt him, I will send you to the 18th level of hell. He glanced sideways at Yang Zizi and did not dare to act rashly. He had to put down the sword in his hand and said weakly, Zizi, I am your father. Yang Zizi smiled sarcastically, Father? Are you worthy? No matter what, my blood is flowing in your body. Yang Zizi's heart suddenly hurt, making her legs a little weak. Goizongliang saw the opportunity and was about to attack Yang Zizi, but was kicked far away by Lun Zhenji. After the brothers settled the vampire queen, they cooperated with Yang Zizi and imprisoned Goizongliang in the dungeon. The two elders and all the soldiers of the blood clan respected a new master. The masters of the blood race have always made no distinction between men and women, but they made an exception and praised a mixed race as their king. Yang Zizi refused directly, glanced at Goiziogu, who was still blaming himself, and recommended, I think His Highness is a stable and mature person, and he will definitely be able to take on this important task. Ghost Xiaogu raised his head and looked at Yang Zizi in surprise. He cut off her wings. Could it be that she didn't blame him at all? Don't worry, I don't blame you. This is not your intention. I know that my brothers love me very much, so why are they willing to hurt me? After all, no one can escape Goizongliang's puppetry. Yang Zizi walked over and patted me. He patted his brother on the shoulder and comforted him. I'm sorry, sister. It's in the past. Yang Zizi's words instantly made Goiziogu burst into tears. He swore that he would never let his sister be harmed in the slightest for eternity. If anyone dares to hurt his sister, he will definitely make everyone pay 1,000 times the price. Goikale stood aside, clenching his fists. Now he has not only lost Luncenchi, but also his mother who loved him, and his brothers. She feels that the world is very unfriendly to her, and all of this is because of Yang Zizi, her appearance. She had lost too much. Their lives finally returned to peace. Yang Zizi decided to stay in the royal family of the blood clan for a longer time. After all, this place was her home. When Lun was prosperous, he would naturally accompany her unconditionally. "Uncle, I'm going to show you something, and you have to explain it to me carefully." Yang Zizi held Luncenchi's hand tightly and let him see the memory he had conveyed to him. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 238. Chapter 238 Returned to his own body. After reading it, Luncenchi smiled fondly, touched the top of her head after a long absence, and explained, "Fool, Guikale can let others see her reverie, and then convey it to others to make it look false." Yang Zizi smiled with relief. "That's it?" Yang Zizi suddenly grabbed Luncenchi's hand and put it on the top of his head. "Quick, touch it more and give me more than 2 years. This feeling is really happy." Okay, Luncenchi doted on him and did as he said. The color of a pair of melancholy eyes watching from a distance slowly turned into blood red. Why, she is obviously an ordinary human being, but she can get everything she can't get, and all this should belong to her, but was robbed by a human girl. "You must tell me where you have been in the past 2 years. I have searched everywhere and can't find you." They sat on the rock. Yang Zizi hugged him tightly, rested her head on his chest, and felt his heartbeat, which had no temperature and no ups and downs. "In the past 2 years, I have traveled to all remote places in the world, including the snow-capped Arctic, McMurdo Station, and the Kerguelen Islands." His chin was pressed against the top of her head, and he had not been as quiet and peaceful as he was now for a long time. Pass. It turns out that the best place is where she is, even in the blood royal family that he hates. "Then why do you go to those places?" "In order not to let you find me, in order not to let anyone hurt you because of me." "You fool, no matter where you go from now on, you must remember to find a way for me to find you, okay?" Okay, Luncenchi smiled fondly, really hoping to have her by his side in the days to come. "Uncle, after a while, how about we leave the vampire clan and return to the human world to live a peaceful life? We can have many, many children, and our family will be together forever." Yang Zizi thought involuntarily. A happy time for their family. Zizi, Luncenchi chose to tell her again that it was impossible for them to have a child of their own. This will hurt both her and the child. Even if the child survives, it will definitely not survive until the age of 3. Yang Zizi was lucky. She had a great mother who spent her whole life protecting her life, and even sacrificed her last chance of survival to save Yang Zizi from death. He, however, did not want Yang Zizi to have the same destiny as her mother. "Huh? What's wrong? Why are you frowning again?" Yang Zizi forcibly smoothed his eyebrows. But as soon as it was smoothed, within 3 seconds, the eyebrows wrinkled again. "Are you worried about something? I tell you, you will never leave me in this life. If you dare to leave me, I will kill you." Yang Zizi dragged Luncenchi away from him domineeringly. "Zizi, you like children so much, how about we go to the orphanage to adopt a few?" Yang Zizi was stunned. Welfare home? Countless pictures were played in her mind one after another. When the pictures were connected together, it could be called a full-length movie, telling the story of a little girl from birth to adulthood. And this little girl is herself. She remembered all her own memories. The memory of the original owner seems to have disappeared. Another memory entered her mind. It's the mother. There was a body before her. That's right, it's herself. The mother is doing her best to preserve the body and restore it. Could it be said that she has returned to her own body? This is why her superpowers have not failed for such a long time. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 239. Chapter 239 I Miss My Mother. Yang Zizi's eyes were full of tears. It turns out that she has always enjoyed her mother's love, but it was invisible and intangible to her. Uncle, I miss my mother. Yang Zizi hugged Lun Zhenqi and cried. Her heart hurt so much. Her mother has done so much for her, but she still blames her mother for not wanting her. If possible, she would rather trade her own life for her mother's life. Lun Zhenqi hugged her and patted her back gently, hoping that he could give her a little comfort. As usual, even in the vampire clan, Lun Zhenqi is still the one who cooks. In order to make everyone accustomed to human diet, Lun Zhenqi personally teaches everyone how to cook. On the table. Wow, I haven't eaten the food cooked by my brother-in-law for a long time. Gui Chen Chen eagerly picked up a large handful of food and put it in his mouth. Eat more. Lun Zhenqi had been serving vegetables to Yang Zizi throughout the whole process, and the vegetables in Yang Zizi's bowl were almost piled into a mountain. Brother-in-law, you are raising my sister like a pig. Gui Yunyu looked at the food mountain in front of Yang Zizi. You are the pig, your whole family is a pig. Yang Zizi couldn't help but retort. Don't my whole family include you? Gui Yunyu said with a smile. He was clearly scolding himself. Huh, the brothers quickly cast a warning look at Gui Yunyu. If you say one more word, you will be thrown out. Gui Yunyu shrank his neck, closed his mouth, and did not dare to say anything more. Looking at them, Gui Kale felt like an outsider. This was her home, so why did she feel like an outsider? Lele, this is made by the god of war, you can try it. As the eldest brother, Gui Ziogu put a crab into Gui Kale's bowl. Ever since his mother passed away, he has taken special care of his half-sister. Gui Kale reluctantly nodded and glanced at Lun Zhenqi, but his eyes never left Yang Zizi, which made her feel extremely aggrieved. Now she has nothing. After dinner, Gui Kale looked at Lun Zhenqi's leaving figure, and finally couldn't hold it back anymore, so he ran over and hugged his waist. Brother Zhenqi, can you let me hold you for a while? She cried, soaking his clothes. Lun Zhenqi's heart softened. At that moment, he really didn't reject her and just let her hold him. Gui Kale looked quite pitiful. Her biological mother passed away and her biological father was deprived of the throne. She didn't have much left. Hold the prosperous Gui Kale, and instantly feel full of security. If he always belongs to me, then everything will be worth it. He has lost his parents now, and he must not lose his prosperous life again. Yang Zizi, the prosperous life is mine, always has been, now and forever, and will be mine forever and ever. Lun Zhenqi broke away from her. If Yang Zizi appeared and was seen, he would be misunderstood. Brother Zhenqi, Gui Kale looked up at Lun Zhenqi with tears in his eyes, even if he got the slightest pity from him. I have nothing left, I only have you. You still have Gaixiao to take care of them, but I never belong to anyone, only Zizi. Lun Zhenqi said. Hearing Lun Zhenqi say Yang Zizi's name, Gui Kale gritted his teeth and clenched his hands into fists. Why did Lun Zhenqi always be inseparable from Yang Zizi, and why did he always mention this human girl in front of him? Even if she is his sister, so what? If she is an ordinary human being, she will remain ordinary all her life, and she is not worthy of the god of war of their blood race. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 240. Chapter 240, Bridal Night with Flowers and Candles. Since Yang Zizi has not completely changed human life habits, the brothers thoughtfully prepared a new room for Yang Zizi and added a double bed. In the room, Yang Zizi was happily preparing for the wedding ceremony. The Lun dynasty has lived for 1,000 years. According to their customs, the newlyweds need a wedding night with flowers and candles. Lun Zhenji stepped into the door and saw the beautiful room decorated by Yang Zizi, and asked, "What are you doing?" Yang Zizi walked to Lun Zhenji and snuggled into his arms. "You are from 1,000 years ago. According to your customs, you need a wedding night, right?" Lun Zhenji thought about it. 1,000 years had passed, and he really couldn't remember it, but thinking about it carefully, it seemed like that was the case. "Then let's make up for it today." Yang Zizi jumped and clapped happily. "Okay." Yang Zizi smiled happily, but suddenly she felt like something was missing all over her body. Finally, she instinctively touched her neck and found that the necklace given to her by Lun Zhenji was missing. "Strange, where is my necklace? No wonder I always feel like something is missing from my body recently. It turns out that my necklace is missing." Lun Zhenji remembered that the necklace fell to the ground when he ran to the dungeon to rescue Yang Zizi. If nothing else, the necklace should still be there. "I know where the necklace is. I'll get it back for you," Lun Zhenji said with a smile. "Well, I'll wait for you." After Lun Zhenji left, Yang Zizi began to dress himself up. She took out the small black lace sling that she had prepared for a long time and hesitated for a few seconds. "No matter, I am an adult now anyway. Since everyone is an adult, there is no need to act coy like a child. What's more, Lun Zhenji is an outsider, but he is her legal husband. But after a long time, the prosperous age of Lun has not returned yet. What's going on? Does it take so long to pick up a necklace?" Yang Zizi was about to change out of her suspender lace dress to go find Lun Zhenji, when he suddenly came back. "Your necklace." He put it back on Yang Zizi with his own hands. "Why did it take you so long?" Yang Zizi complained. "It took me some time to find this necklace," Lun Zhenji said with a smile, but his eyes were evading unnoticeably, as if he had something on his mind. Yang Zizi, on the other hand, was focused on their wedding night and didn't pay any attention to these small details. Lun Zhenji looked at Yang Zizi's dress tonight. "Why are you dressed like this? What's wrong? You don't like it?" "I'm wearing it just to show you how it works." Yang Zizi hooked his neck. Lun Zhenji swallowed his saliva. He didn't expect Yang Zizi to have such a charming side. But he tried his best to calm himself down and not make some stupid mistakes that he knew he couldn't make. "I've prepared wine." Yang Zizi picked up the wine glass and handed it to Lun Zhenji. "Seed." Seeing that Lun Zhenji was still refusing to pick up the call, Yang Zizi pretended to be angry and said, "Don't worry, I won't get drunk." He was obviously worried about what they might do when they were all drunk. After hearing what Yang Zizi said, Lun Zhenji breathed a sigh of relief and was willing to accompany Yang Zizi to do whatever she wanted to do. 2 hours, they drank and drank together for a full 2 hours. Lun Zhenji's drinking ability was not good, and he soon became drunk and passed out. Yang Zizi laughed at his drinking capacity. End of this chapter.